Turkey and Israel, and I have to say it was one of the most memorable trips that I have ever taken. And I would want to encourage anyone, if you have the opportunity to do it, please go, because I fully expect that when I read my Bible in the future, to be able to associate places, real places we visited, with the scripture, it's going to add a whole new dimension to it. So if you get a chance to go, please do it. Please do it.
And I have just learned so much. It's just been incredible to me to see these actual places where Jesus was, where our the patriarchs were, to be able to not only see them but to experience them firsthand. So awesome. it was just amazing, and it was well worth every dollar. I loved the fact also that once we were on the trip, we didn't have to pay for anything. There was no tipping, no nothing. Everything was very well thought out. It was very well planned. It was very well organized. And it was just the trip of a lifetime for us. And we've traveled a whole lot in the past, but this was
wonderful.
This was just incredible. I absolutely loved it. I want to encourage anybody. We brought a lot of friends with us, and they are all saying that they're so thrilled that they've come. And they know other people who've been to Israel, but they have not seen anywhere near the number of things that we were able to see, and not only see but experience too.
Yeah, there was nothing in Israel that we might have thought that we'd want to go to or visit that we didn't. I mean, I can't think of a thing. And the pace was good, but you know, the hotels were wonderful, the food was wonderful, all these other things that you might think about or have some concern about, it was all great. And I mean, that just made it a wonderful trip. So if you get a chance to go, make sure you do.
What about safety? Did you have any problems with, did you ever feel in danger?
No, I never felt in danger at all. You know, we always had wonderful guides. We always pretty much traveled as a group. You know, we got to know each other very quickly, so you always knew someone around that, you know, that you could count on to know where they were going. And yeah, I mean, it was awesome. I mean, you know, just going around with the bus, we made lots of new friends. We're all going to exchange names and numbers and stuff like that. So it was great.
The Israel trip was amazing. I would recommend it to anyone who's thinking or praying about going. For me, it was incredibly. It was just awesome because you're literally walking and you're seeing these sites where you don't really realize it until you get there. How magnificent it is, and I think the depth of what I've experienced, I definitely don't fully understand right now sitting in the airport on my way home. But I do know that going back through and reading my Bible, it's gonna have a different life given to it. Being able to put an image in my mind with the text, and just in addition to that, we had amazing accommodations, world-class guides that knew. I mean, they could talk for days upon days upon days about the places that we were at. So you really got the best of the best everywhere that we went. Just an incredible trip that's with a bunch of people that love Jesus, and it's all about Jesus. So that's enough for me.
I think my expectations of the trip were lower than they should have been, because I was expecting, oh, the Sea of Galilee, Jesus was there and we'll be on the same sea, and he was somewhere there. And I never really expected to be able to walk down the Roman road that he walked after the Last Supper to the Garden of Gethsemane, and then to walk back up that Roman road where he was awaiting trial. It was crazy to literally have stood where Jesus stood. To see the cave where the first Dead Sea Scrolls were found, if you get a chance to do that, was absolutely incredible. It was a hike. It was pretty high up there, but it was just phenomenal to be there, where one of the greatest archaeological discoveries of all time, as far as we are concerned, was found. It was so amazing to be there and just have that perspective. I would recommend it for anyone. If there are parts that are too difficult for some people, like me, I made accommodations, and anybody can do it. Really, it was phenomenal.
All right, one more question. Some people wouldn't come on a trip like this because of safety. Did you ever feel that safety was an issue on the trip?
No. We were in areas where people would probably consider very unsafe, like the West Bank. We stayed pretty far from Gaza, which was good, but the West Bank is one of those regions where I think people were really concerned, at least my family and friends at home. And we were completely fine. Our guides knew the people there very well, and prepped us to, what to say, how to dress, things like that. So we were completely respectful of their culture and their religious beliefs and all that. So I felt very comfortable the whole time.
Yeah, yeah. I'm more safe. I felt more safe here than I feel in most U.S. cities.
That's true.
If that means anything, I'd rather walk around here with this team than even go out for dinner in some cities in the U.S. that I've been to. So it's great, man. It's safe. You're gonna be okay. I promise.
This was like the best trip I've seen, where you can actually bring the geography and the archaeology of what we studied over the years in our geography, and bring it into how it fits into the Bible, and really tie those two together so you get such a better understanding of what went on, what John was doing, what Peter was doing, what Jesus was doing, where he went and where he stayed, and actually see the places, so that when you read the Bible the next time, which I want to do right now, I want to really pick up the Bible and read it all over again, that you can visualize those places and really have a better understanding of what they are and where they are.
This really brought the Bible to life. Looking at the history that we learned in Turkey, just crazy. And then we went to Israel. These places that we've read about, that we've heard about, that you couldn't pronounce, that you didn't know where they were, how they related to anything. We were able to visualize all that, see it, try to ingrain it into us. I'm just so excited to get back home and do more Bible study. The places we went were phenomenal. The adventures, the hiking, the camaraderie, it was just phenomenal.
And some people would say that this trip would be too dangerous for them to take. Did you feel like this was a dangerous trip you went on?
No, not at all. I never felt like I was put in any kind of danger at any point of it. I also thought, we saw the State Department announcements and the news reports of bombs going off in Syria and all that kind of stuff. But no, I never felt in any danger whatsoever.
It was kind of interesting going into the West Bank and Palestine and, not knowing what we were going to come across, but everything was fine. The Americans, they let us transit through safely. Our group stayed together, and I don't think there was any risk whatsoever. Even the military people seemed very personable to us, and I didn't feel like there was any compromise in any safety.
Well, there was one time when a bunch of kids came running over toward the group, and it turns out they were just playing soccer.
Thanks.
The reason that I wanted to make the trip to Turkey and Israel is because I had very little idea about the timeline of before Christ here on the earth, and I was absolutely amazed at the historical sites that we saw and how everything all came together. The other reason that was particularly important for me was that I was baptized in the Jordan River, and that will be a moment that I will never forget.
Well, a little bit like Ruth, I wasn't sure where Turkey and Israel was. I knew it was a little bit east of Nebraska, where I grew up, but again, I think like Ruth, I did not really know the history, didn't know really where the locations were, but after having the opportunity to walk where Jesus walked and to learn of all the different things that, the 7 churches in Turkey, with Revelations, it was beyond imagination, and like Ruth, my baptism in the Jordan River is something I'll remember forever.
I never, ever, one time felt that I was ever in any kind of jeopardy as far as my personal danger or the danger of the group. I felt like my belongings were always safe and secure. And when I do have to say I had a little trepidation when we were going to go to the West Bank, but it was a breeze. I would do it again in a heartbeat.
Likewise, I would say too, we would leave our passports, our money on the bus, never had any problem with that. My only problem is when we went shopping, I left some money there because of the shopping and just and that. But no, it never felt unsafe for a second. It was great.
Anyone who's studying the Bible who'd really like to know the historicity of it or the setting that it was written in, I would recommend this trip. You'll find that the Bible just comes alive. The background behind the stories, the places that we went were just incredible. It was a great trip, and the security was great. Never feared.
Never felt unsafe. No. And we
great
made,
guides,
yep.
Just really full of information. We had a great time.
We had a great time and made lifetime friends that we're excited to continue to be friends with.